guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is part 2 Q&A / get to know me. Today's video also has just a few questions that y'all had asked me, and I figured I'd throw them into this video. There's not many, just a couple. The rest of the questions are questions I looked up. I went to Google. I typed in like good questions to ask someone to get to know them, because I figured that's the easiest way, since I am a small YouTuber and many of you, either I'm an open book and you all think you know me really well, or you just don't know what to ask me, or I'm just too small, like who knows. So I don't really get asked too many questions, but I like doing these videos. I feel like these videos I think they help a lot. In my last video, well, y'all already know my name, and if you missed my last video, I'm 38, and I said that I've been with my husband for 8 years, but we are not legally married. One of the questions I got was how I met my husband. His name is Earl, by the way. So I met Earl well over like 10 years ago. I don't even actually know. Like, I met him a long time ago. I met him after I just had my first child, and he's 18 now. So I met him almost 20 years ago. I met him at my pressure washing job the very first time that I ever got that job, because that is a job that I keep going back to. I absolutely love it. And if you're new here, I used to pressure wash semi-trucks. So we did more than that, but it was strictly, for the most part, semi-trucks. Anyways, so I was the first girl hired ever at that job. I wasn't the only one, but I definitely was the first one. And I remember working at Brown Line. That was like my first day. I showed up at Brown Line and never used a pressure washer ever before. I don't even think I used like a regular low powered one. So I was in for it, and I had no idea. So they're like, "Oh yeah, go ahead. It's not too bad. Just it's got a little bit of a kick." They made it seem like it's not that bad, which now knowing, looking at it now, it's really not that bad. But when you don't know. So long story short, they set me up, and that thing blew me on my butt, completely into a brick wall that was behind me. It wasn't hard, but it definitely kicked me back. But yeah, I met him there, and I was with my first son's dad at that time. In fact, he was the one who actually got me that job, which is kind of crazy that I'm actually with Earl now. So in a way, he was kind of the reason that we met in the first place. And the reason that how he found that job for me was he was working at Freightliner, and those guys would come once in a while and wash their trucks or detail their trucks. And I wanted a job, but I didn't know where to start to look. I didn't want just any kind of job. I didn't want to work in a place and be stuck in one spot. I tend to like jobs where I can kind of just get outside. I like outdoor jobs. Even though I'm in Washington and it rains most of the time. I know, I'm crazy. But anyways, so he found that job for me. And I remember that day going to Freightliner, and he's like, "Oh, I think I found a job for you." And he points over at these huge guys. And he's like, "Yeah, pressure washing semi-trucks." And I looked at him and I'm like, "You've got to be kidding me. Me compared to them, there's no way." And he wasn't kidding though. So that's how I got the job, and that is how I met Earl. And like I said, we didn't date at first. I was with my first son's dad, and then years and years have passed by. And, we became friends, not super close friends, but we were friends over a course of years. And then it ended up I got into a relationship that was pretty good in the beginning, and then it ended up just being really bad. And he was there kind of for me to talk about stuff. And I ended up leaving that guy to be with Earl. I didn't cheat on the guy, but I don't know. Everyone's, the way everyone views stuff is differently. But I don't know. So anyways, that's how I met him, through that pressure washing job years and years ago. And okay, someone else asked me if I plan or we plan on having any more kids. And I always feel like that's the weirdest question when I didn't just have a baby, but I mean, she's not even a year. And now, I'm not saying like, how dare you ask me that question, but I always think it's kind of funny. It's like, especially when they're newborn, you plan on having more? It's like, I just had this little girl. Me personally, I would love to have 4 kids. I don't know why. I just feel like, I don't know if it's like, it's not so much that I don't want a middle child, because Jace right now, my 13-year-old, he's the middle child, but he doesn't feel like a middle child. What it feels like is I had a set of 2, I waited a long time, and now I'm working on a second set. That's how I see it. It sounds so weird when you say it like that, but it doesn't feel like he's a middle child because he's a lot older than her. It's not like I had like kid, like right after the other, and that's part of the reason I would like another kid, is because Jalen, she is 8 months. So there's a huge age gap between my older 2. And I know they'll have like a close relationship, but I would like her to have someone else closer to her age. So the answer to that question is yes, but I don't know when. Hopefully not in 13 years, because I don't think that'd be possible at my age. I'm 38. And my first kid I had when I was 19. So technically I was a teen mom, but not, young. Okay. The last question that I got was, when is my birthday? And my birthday is March 22nd. And then I figured I'm going to throw this in after that question. I decided to say what my sign was. If y'all are into zodiac or anything, I'm not super crazy into it, but once in a while I would look it up and it wouldn't match up. That's why I haven't like been so crazy about it until I found out that my birthday lands on the cusp. And I didn't even know there was a whole like cusp thing. So my sign forever I thought was Aries, because if you look up my birthday, it would be Aries. But I'm actually Aries and Pisces, like on the cusp. So some of the stuff for Pisces would line up, and like, you read all these little things like, oh, and it would make more sense than the Aries. And I always thought that was so strange until I figured out like, oh, I'm on the cusp. And Earl's sister actually told me about that. So that was kind of cool. So now I'm more interested in it. I'm not like completely invested, but it's just something fun to look at. My favorite holiday is 4th of July, hands down. Why? Because it's like the only holiday where you do not have to spend money. And I'm all about not spending money. But I absolutely love fireworks. I think they're beautiful, and I love it because like you could just sit out in your front yard and someone is bound to be doing fireworks like around you. So you can just stay home and watch it. You can always enjoy that holiday without spending money. And who doesn't love the 4th of July? Another question that was kind of funny that I looked up, it said, who was your first celebrity crush? And it was oh my gosh, I can't even say his name. Getting like giddy. Leonardo DiCaprio. And the reason why is from that, when they redid the Romeo and Juliet movie, I loved that newer, like modern version of it, even though it's kind of, some parts, you know how the story goes. Some parts I could have lived without watching. But yeah, he was just so cute in that movie. And he was my first crush. I would like find little pictures of him in magazines, and I would put all the pictures combined on a piece of paper. I don't know how old I was, but it was pretty cute. One thing that instantly makes my day better, well, because I'm in Washington, the sunshine. If it is a nice sunny day, instantly I'm just happy, because we don't really get that a lot. And that kind of goes into this question, which was, what is my favorite season and why? Now, this one actually changed. So my favorite season when I was younger, obviously it was summer because I liked summer break. I didn't want to be in school. I loved school and I did good, but I loved having no school, you know. But as I got older, my favorite season was fall just because it's so beautiful. I love the colors of fall, everything to do with fall. I love Halloween. I just think fall is just a nice, like, easygoing kind of feeling of a time, if that made sense. But now, after last fall in winter and everything, I'm going to have to say that my favorite season is summer. And I know it gets really hot, but where I'm at, we don't get that much of like nice days. So, yeah, summer is my favorite season right now. So, we'll see how long that lasts. Another question said, what is the first thing I would do if I won the lottery? And I used to always say, like, okay, I would buy a house, right? And I would find houses or like property and with a house for all my family, not like one big property. I don't want all my family all on one property. That'd be crazy. I'm not even going to act like that's something I want. I don't even think they would want that. Maybe if we were far, like had like enough property in between us, that'd be cool. But yeah, I would just like for them to not have to stress out about, payments on a house or like rent or anything like that. Because I feel like a lot of us, when we're younger, we can't wait to grow up because we think we can do whatever we want. And then as an adult, I feel like most of the stress comes from keeping a roof over your head. And that's part of the reason why we're so grateful for it, because like it's hard to do that. It's one of the hardest things as an adult, in my opinion. So yeah, I would definitely help my family out, and my whole family, and then I would move on to like friends and stuff like that. Oh, and my brother came up with this great idea years and years ago. When he was a little kid, he came up with this idea, and I love it. He decided to have like a huge giant garage, and you can have all of your favorite vehicles and stuff. And that is something I'd want to do. I would want to have a barn, though, a long, huge barn, and where you go in through the doors, and in each little stall or whatever you want to call it is a car. And then you can like walk right in, and there's the keys like on both sides on the walls, right in the doors. And you can just grab keys and go boop, boop, and see which one it goes to. I think that'd be amazing. And that is one of my dreams. Who knows if I'll ever get there. I mean, I don't need that many cars, but it is really cool and fun to think about. Oh, one of the questions, it said, what is the worst gift I've ever got? The worst gift I ever got actually backfired. My uncle Mark actually gave me this when I was a little girl, and it was supposed to be a gag gift. So what it was is an oatmeal, like one of those round oatmeal containers. And when I opened it, it was just full of rocks. So I was supposed to not be excited. But as a little girl, I collected rocks, and I don't know if he knew that. So when I opened it, I got really excited because they looked really cool to me. I don't know if he picked them out, or just like grabbed random rocks, but I loved every single rock that was in there, and I got really excited. And then he gave me a sock monkey, which was my actual gift that he made. So it was just really funny, and that was one of the best memories I have as a child. Oh, okay. So this question, it said, did you ever hide anything from your parents? Yeah, of course. I'm going to go into like 3 different stories here. No, 4. Okay. So one thing I hid is a mouse. I literally hid a mouse. I went to my mom's one weekend, and we got a mouse at the pet shop because it was so cheap. It's like, oh, anybody can just pay a couple dollars, get a mouse, and just go home. And I think I don't remember what happened. Either that or we caught it. I'm going to have to ask my brother. But I know eventually I actually did get a mouse somehow. And we kept it. My brother and I went, no, that's what it was. I think we caught it. So we were trying to keep it as a pet. And we got tubes from the pet shop. That's what we did. We got those little like cute little like hamster mice little tubes that they crawl in. And we didn't really know anything about mice. So we kept it in a bucket thinking it would just stay there and live there in my dad's garage. And he found the little bucket one day and he was like, "What is all this?" And the mouse was gone at that point, of course. And we're like, "I don't know." Well, we're like, "I don't know what that is." But anyways, so we hid a mouse, not for very long, obviously. And another thing I did, it was my idea, is me and my brother and I think the neighbor kids, we wanted to watch the sunrise, right? So we wanted to watch the sunrise, not knowing when the sun even was gonna rise. So we woke up, I think, like way before 6 in the morning. And we went across the street. So it's like little kids just escaping, leaving the home early in the morning, hiding in bushes and just waiting for the sunrise. First, we were in the field across the street. And then we went to our friend's house and we seen a police car because I think my dad called the cops saying like his kids are missing. I mean, that would make sense, right? But I didn't know. And I thought, or maybe the neighbors seen that someone was like out there with flashlights because we didn't know what we were doing. So we were hiding in the bush. The cops found us, took us home, and that was not a fun story to explain. We ended up knowing what time the sun came up later that day. Oh, okay. And there is 2 more things that I hid from my parents. Well, mainly from my dad. He had a sugar jar and I broke the lid on it and he was at work. So I think I glued it with some super glue and you couldn't even tell it was broken. It happened like multiple times. That was one of the things I hid, which eventually we tell him all these stories as adults. And the look on his face is just like, you guys, But another thing I hid, and I do not recommend doing this. This is probably the worst thing I've ever done. I didn't really do it, but it was my child. My oldest son, when he was a little baby, he just kind of like knocked over my dad's guitar and the neck cracked. And I can't really say I hid this because I tried to, but it didn't work out. It just, the plan fell through. So I called like a guitar repair shop and I asked them like, "Hey, this just happened, like how much is it going to cost? And can you get this done like before my dad gets home?" And when I found out the answer is no, I was just like, oh my gosh, how am I going to tell him? It's so that's another thing I tried to hide, but I figured I'd throw that in there because that's pretty bad. But the guitar, you would never even know. That guy repaired that guitar so well. My dad was mad, but he understood, just because it's like my dad has a lot of guitars. Those are like some of his prized possessions. So I can only imagine as an adult now, like, I don't think I could handle that. One of the questions was, do you believe in love at first sight? This I used to believe, and then I didn't, and then I did. And then after I started having kids, yes, I do believe in love at first sight because every time I see my baby, I am in love. You know what I mean? So that is a real thing. So if you don't believe it, think of it that way, and then it'll change your whole perspective on that whole thing. What line should someone never cross with me? I don't know. We'll come back to that one because I honestly don't have an answer right now. Actually, don't mess with my kids. It's like you can say whatever you want about me. I could care less. I like on my Instagram in the about me section, I used to just have a quote, and it was a quote from NF, who is a rapper. And the quote says, go ahead and like run my name through the dirt. I don't care. I was made from it. I mean, that's not exactly it, but it's basically like that. It's like I have been through so much stuff. Like, there is pretty much nothing you can do or say to me that is really gonna like get to me, especially at this age. I'm 38. I mean, like, I've been around for a while. There's been some stuff that I've dealt with. But you want to turn around and like mess with my kids? Good luck with that. Have fun. Are you an organ donor? No. I highly disagree with that whole situation, which is funny because I was a caregiver for so long, and you would think like, oh, if like a nurse, you would think for sure would be an organ donor, right? But the thought of me dying, and it's like, it's okay because I'm dead. It's like, who cares? I'm dead, right? But thinking about, I don't know, it's a little bit of a conspiracy theory thing going on with me in that whole decision, is I feel like if you get in a car wreck, okay, let's put it this way. If you get in a really bad car wreck and there is something that they could do to save you, but you're an organ donor, and let's say someone needs something so bad, and then let's say they just don't do that thing to save you. I mean, that's a bit of a stretch, but I don't know. I think that kind of shady stuff happens a lot more than people know. So no, I'm not an organ donor. Never will be, and you can't talk me into it. How do you define beauty? And I'm not going to say like, oh, beauty is in the inside and stuff like that. I think beauty is anything that makes you happy, anything that brings good, anything that makes you laugh, anything that makes you just happy. I think that is beautiful, because anything that makes you feel good can't be that bad, right? Do you live by any words of wisdom? I do and I don't. I can't really think of anything right off the top of my head. I guess some things I think about is like, I always try to think of when I'm feeling bad or just feeling like not my best on certain days, or feeling like, oh, I wanted to get all this stuff done, right? A, B, and C all done, and I didn't do it. And what I tell myself is like, look how far you've come. Like, it's okay. You have been through so much. It's okay to take a rest day. And those aren't really like words of wisdom, but those are like, I guess, like things I kind of go by. And I always wake up every morning trying to be grateful and looking around and just thinking of all these things that I never used to have. And they don't have to actually be things like objects, but you know what I mean? Like, try to be thankful for where I'm at in my life and where I am mentally, and like how much stronger I am than I was, 5 years ago. I always think about things like that. And then I also always try to just think of how I could have done something better, but also not kick myself too much for not doing it the way that I'm thinking I should have done it. You know what I mean? Oh, here's some words of wisdom. So if someone is trying to bring you down, I know everybody's probably heard this, but that means they're already below you. Because people who are happy, people who are positive, people who are like okay with where they're at and they're not jealous of other people, do not go around trying to bring people down. Let's put it this way. They're taking the easy way out if they're doing that, because it is so much easier to break something than it is to build something. So women and men who go around building people up, they are strong people and they get something back from that. It makes you feel so much better as a person to be that way with other people, to show people that kind of like love and attention, that you don't have to know someone, they don't have to be your friend for you to be a decent person, and you can help everyone. There's always something that you can help them with. Even smiling at someone once in a while, that can make someone's day. And, it'll show them like, oh, there is some good in the world, And I feel like people that go around breaking people down, so to speak, That's the easiest thing to do. That doesn't make them any stronger. It doesn't make them a bad B word, as they call it. Like, that doesn't make you, that's not something you want to be. You know, it's not tough. It's not hard to be mean. Everybody can do it. So why would you go and waste your time doing something that's taking the easy way out, but also bringing yourself down as well? I don't know. Do I sing in the shower? Yeah, I do. I totally sing in the shower. It sounds so much better in the shower. I also sing with like a little job rocker stereo system thing and a microphone, and I go onto YouTube and type in like music videos with lyrics, and I sing that way too. But in the shower, it just sounds so good in there. What is a go-to midnight snack for me? I am a total snacker. I try not to be now because it's not good to eat late. Let's just say that. It's really not. And you can have some really crazy dreams if you eat late. Yeah, I found that out the hard way. But my go-to midnight snack, hands down, is cereal. And it could be any kind of cereal. I just love cereal. I just do. And this cereal is not good for you, but that new s'mores cereal, oh my gosh, you guys got to try it at least once. Just live a little. Any reoccurring dreams? Well, yeah, when I was younger, I kept having a dream, and it wasn't a good dream. It was good in the way that I kept flying. I could run really fast and all of a sudden jump, and I'm flying in my dream. So it was good. But the reason I was running so fast and flying was because I was being chased by an orb, which doesn't make any sense, because when you're a young kid, I didn't learn anything weird. You know what I mean? Like, it was just really strange that I just kept having that same dream. But anyways, that is all I have for today's video. Oh, no, wait. I wanted to talk about future videos. So I will be doing the like YouTube-ish video, but I only do one. I'm not going to do all the tutorials, because if you look up on YouTube, there are so many that are better than what I could give. And I'm not trying to downplay myself. Like, yeah, I could figure it out. But I just feel like I want to give you something that's a little bit different, and something that actually kind of start to finish gets to the point, you know. And if I did a bunch of different videos, it would be like, okay, now what do I do with all this information? That you would be like left with nothing. So that is one video. Another video is this little side table thing that I started to sand it a long time ago, and I've got to finish that. And currently I am working on the brick wall that has the barn door on it. And on Instagram, I showed a little tiny bit of a picture of that. So I'm working on that. I don't know how long that's going to take, because I ran out of joint compound, and I don't know. So we will see. I still need to do like an update on my daughter and stuff, but I might do that after her 8-month appointment, or her checkup. And I was going to also include a tutorial on the wrap. And then, let's see. I'm lost. Gosh, what was I going to do? Oh, I've also started to paint my little chandelier. It's not really going to be like a video, but obviously I'm going to show you guys that at some point too. Just show you it like in a video, maybe like a day in the life or something. But yeah, the update with my daughter and the wrap tutorial. Basically, the videos that I'm trying to put out are all going to be the same. Anything that I brought up saying like, oh, I'm going to do a video on that, is all the same. So anything that you have in mind that you're thinking about, that's going to be a video, except for the U-cut tutorial. No, that I am going to do in the video all together. But I'm not going to do the thumbnail tutorial videos and stuff. I might throw some of it. See, I would just want to combine a bunch of stuff into one, so you can just go to one video and get all the information you need. That's what I'm trying to do. But yeah, any other videos I said I would do, I'm definitely going to do. So keep an eye out for those, even though I can't even think about what they are right now. But anyways, you guys, I hope you all enjoyed this video today, and I cannot wait to see you tomorrow. Bye, y'all.